Welcome, everyone, to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today because, honestly, we're going to completely change how you look at your next meal. Today, we're diving into the molecular kitchen. We're going to see that your kitchen isn't just a place to grab a snack when you're hungry. No way. It is actually a highly advanced, utterly delicious chemistry lab. Literally, every time you step up to that stove, you're a scientist conducting real-time experiments.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Think about it. Why does a raw, frankly kind of unappetizing piece of meat taste completely different and, infinitely better than a beautifully grilled, sizzling steak? I mean, it's the exact same piece of matter, right? Well, the secret lies entirely in chemistry. It's all about the transformation of molecules.
Welcome to the lab, cooking chemistry. To really grasp what's happening when we cook, we've got to reframe our perspective. Imagine your pantry ingredients as your chemical reactants, and your pots and pans, those are your beakers. To kick off our lab work, we need to get straight on the fundamental difference between physical and chemical changes. A physical change just means the state or form changes, but there's no new substance created. Think about melting ice into water or grinding whole spices into a powder. It's still water, it's still spice. But a chemical change? That is a whole different ballgame. That's when new substances form entirely. Baking bread is a perfect example here. You simply cannot unbake bread, right? Because its fundamental chemical makeup has been permanently transformed.
And what exactly is driving these incredible transformations? Heat. Heat is the ultimate catalyst in our kitchen lab. Now, heat transfers in three main ways. First up is conduction, which is that direct contact. Think of that intense sizzle when food hits a screaming hot pan. Then we have convection, involving movement through fluids, like the rolling, tumbling bubbles in a pot of boiling water. And finally, radiation, which relies on heat waves, like the intense ambient heat you get when baking or grilling. Whichever method you're using, heat is doing the heavy lifting. It's breaking chemical bonds, it's speeding up reactions, and it's permanently altering both the texture and the flavor of your food.
Section 2. The Science of Flavor. Delicious Reactions.
Now, what's really interesting about this next reaction is how ubiquitous it is. We're talking about the Maillard reaction, easily the most famous chemical reaction in the culinary world. When you crank up the heat above roughly 140 degrees Celsius, amino acids, which are just proteins, start reacting with reducing sugars. This single microscopic reaction is the actual engine behind those beautiful golden brown colors and the incredibly complex, rich aromas of toasted bread, roasted coffee beans, and, yep, that perfectly grilled steak we talked about earlier. But it's really important not to confuse the Maillard reaction with caramelization. While the Maillard reaction absolutely requires proteins, caramelization is strictly the breakdown of sugar when it's heated. The sugar literally melts and then starts to decompose, creating those deep, rich brown colors and sweet, nutty flavors. Just imagine the mouth-watering smell of deeply browned onions or cracking the crisp, glass-like topping of a perfectly torched creme brulee. That, my friends, is pure caramelization at work. Flavor is also completely dependent on how ingredients combine, which brings us to a really cool concept: emulsification. Normally, oil and water absolutely despise each other. They are immiscible, meaning they just will not mix no matter what you do. But if you introduce an emulsifier, you basically force them to hold hands. A super relatable example of this is mayonnaise. By vigorously whisking an egg yolk, which serves as our handy chemical emulsifier, into oil and water or vinegar, you actually force them together to create a perfectly smooth, creamy, and stable sauce. Section 3. Texture and transformation. Changing structures. In their raw, natural state, proteins are like these tightly, intricately coiled up balls of yarn. But when they're introduced to heat or certain chemicals, they undergo something called denaturation. Essentially, they lose their natural structure and literally unfold. Try to paint a picture in your mind of a raw, slimy, transparent egg hitting a blazing hot pan. Instantly, that clear liquid turns into an opaque, firm, white solid. That visual right there, that is protein denaturation happening in real time, right before your eyes. And as a bonus, this unfolding process actually makes the food significantly easier for our bodies to digest. So the crucial point here is that it's not just heat causing these wild transformations. Acidity and alkalinity play absolutely massive roles too. The pH level actively alters the taste, the color, and the texture of our meals. Take an acidic ingredient like lemon juice, for example. A quick squeeze can entirely prevent the unappetizing brown oxidation of cut fruits like apples or avocados.
On the total opposite end of the spectrum, adding an alkaline ingredient, like just a pinch of baking soda to boiling water, will dramatically and rapidly soften your vegetables. Speaking of vegetables, have you ever wondered why they sometimes change color in a boiling pot? Well, it all comes down to their chemical pigments. Chlorophyll, which is what gives veggies their bright green color, is actually really sensitive. It turns a dull, kind of muddy olive green when exposed to prolonged heat. Carotenoids, on the other hand, those are the oranges and yellows found in things like carrots, are incredibly tough. They remain highly stable even in high heat. And then you have anthocyanins, the vibrant reds and blues in cabbage or berries. These guys are extremely pH sensitive, meaning they will shift colors entirely depending on whether they're hanging out in an acidic or an alkaline environment. Section 4. The precision of baking. Precise chemistry. If cooking a steak is like an expressive art form, baking is a rigorous, precise chemistry test. You literally have to get it right. Let's rapidly fire off the chemical roles of these fundamental baking ingredients, because together, they build the literal architecture of our favorite baked goods. Flour isn't just some powdery filler. It provides the structural integrity through gluten formation. Eggs, those are your chemical binders, holding the whole matrix together. Sugar does way more than just add sweetness. It actively participates in the browning reactions we just discussed, and it locks in essential moisture. And fats or oils, they drastically improve the mouthfeel and texture, all while carrying vital fat-soluble vitamins. And of course, we absolutely cannot forget leavening agents. These are the magic ingredients that quite literally bring our baked goods to life. Baking soda and baking powder undergo rapid chemical reactions to release carbon dioxide gas. So when you peek into the oven and see a dough rising, that fluffy, airy texture we all crave is quite simply millions of tiny pockets of trapped carbon dioxide gas expanding under the intense heat. It's like inflating millions of microscopic balloons. But chemical powders aren't the only way to get gas. Gas is also produced biologically through a process called fermentation. Here, actual living microorganisms consume sugars and convert them into alcohol or acids. Think about the biological chemistry of microscopic yeast munching away on sugars to produce the CO2 that gives a freshly baked loaf of sourdough its physical rise, and that distinct, slightly sour, amazing taste. Or, on the flip side, it's bacteria producing lactic acid to give yogurt its characteristic tangy flavor and thick, creamy texture. Section 5. Avoiding culinary disasters. Cookie mistakes. Now we're going to shift our focus to troubleshooting. I want to arm you with the actual science to fix your worst kitchen nightmares. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why things go wrong. Ever had meat that was rubbery and tough enough to bounce? Well, that's excess protein denaturation. You've literally squeezed all the moisture right out of those unfolding proteins by overcooking. Did your milk suddenly curdle? The proteins coagulated because the environment was way too acidic or too hot. A flat, sad-looking cake simply points to a lack of CO2 production, meaning your leavening agents were probably expired. And a harsh, bitter taste? You've pushed way past caramelization into burning territory, heavily overheating your sugars or spices. You know, understanding chemistry doesn't just help you cook food perfectly, it also helps you preserve it by actively slowing down all this microscopic chaos. Take freezing, for instance. Freezing food practically hits the pause button, drastically slowing down degrading chemical reactions. Salting actively draws out the moisture that spoilage bacteria desperately need to survive. Pickling drops the pH levels, creating a hostile, highly acidic environment where spoilage organisms simply cannot live. And drying, well, that removes the moisture entirely, stopping decay dead in its tracks before it ever even starts. Now, for those of you who want to take all of this to the absolute cutting edge, there is the incredible world of molecular gastronomy. This is where the kitchen lab gets truly futuristic and honestly, wildly creative. By deeply understanding the exact chemistry we've been talking about today, chefs can manipulate everyday food into entirely new, mind-bending forms. We're talking turning flavorful liquids into popping caviar-like spheres through a process called spherification, or using liquid nitrogen to instantly freeze foods, creating extraordinary new textures and stunning visual presentations that practically defy logic. So, to wrap up our explainer today, I want you to remember this. Cooking is this beautiful, intricate blend of strict science and boundless creativity. Every single sizzling pan, every rising dough, and every browning crust is a live chemistry experiment happening right there in your home. And armed with this scientific knowledge, you aren't just blindly following a recipe anymore. You are in complete, masterful control of the reactions. So tell me, the next time you turn on that stove, what exactly will you discover in your laboratory?